Hi everybody. So my presentation was for unit 2 was researching and reporting on the editors and techniques used in the films The Godfather and Bonnie and Clyde. So that is what I'm going to go over with all of you. Both The Godfather and Bonnie and Clyde are huge cinematic masterpieces that have spanned generations, honestly. These films, I'm assuming, were chosen to report on because of the differences that they share, but how they both have made huge impacts in cinematic history that have just worked very well to allow future films to be able to move on and do the other things that these films started out doing. So, just a little cap here. The Godfather, there are 6 editors in total on this film, but only 2 that were credited, both William Reynolds and Peter Zinner. The techniques that are used in The Godfather are continuous action is the main one, parallel editing is another one. Parallel editing is also used in Bonnie and Clyde, but it's not talked about as much as it is in The Godfather. And then for Bonnie and Clyde, there's only one editor, and her name is Dee Allen. The editorial techniques used for Bonnie and Clyde is mostly cross-cutting. And so that was a really fascinating one to research and to show the difference between continuous action and cross-cutting was really fascinating as well. So for The Godfather, William Reynolds and Peter Zinner were the 2 credited directors. The crazy thing that I learned while researching this is that William Reynolds only edited the first half of the film, while Peter Zinner was known to edit the second half of the film. William Reynolds, super famous film editor. He had a 60-year-long career. Some of his most famous films include The Sound of Music and Hello, Dolly, in addition to The Godfather, obviously. Peter Zinner had a shorter career than Reynolds. He started out actually as a taxi driver and kind of fell into film editing on accident, which I thought was really fascinating. And he only edited the second half of the movie. However, he did go on to edit the entire film of The Godfather Part 2. So continuous action is the style that was used in The Godfather. It is described as an editing system used to maintain the consistency of both time and space in the film. Editing this way helps ground audiences in the reality of film while establishing a clear and structured narrative. What I found out is this type of editing allows the audience to sit and you feel like you're in the film. And if anybody who has ever seen The Godfather knows, you sit in scenes for a very long time. One in particular is, one of the most famous scenes is when the horse head is in the bed and you sit there and you wake up with the actor and then you sit there and you internalize his fear that he is experiencing as well. Parallel editing is another style that was used. It refers to it's basically defined as showing 2 simultaneous events. So you'll see one event, it'll flash to another scene, you'll see another event, but those 2 events are happening simultaneously. And so it allows the audience to see both things happening at the same time. For Bonnie and Clyde, Dee Allen is the only editor. She is known for being one of the most creative and stylish editors in the industry. You also know some of her other films such as The Breakfast Club, Alice's Restaurant, and The Addams Family. The most popular style of editing for this film is cross-cutting, so it allows the user to kind of fill in the blanks, or allows the audience to fill in the blanks, essentially. What that means is that, the pieces of the film don't go mostly together. In Bonnie and Clyde in particular, one instance is in the opening scene where you see Bonnie and you see her walk around a room, but you see her laying on the bed and then you see her standing up walking and you don't actually see her get up off the bed. That is essentially cross-cutting. This style of editing allows the movie allows the audience to move through the scene without having to sit stagnant through every character motion. And then these are my sources. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I'm sorry that this was a little bit longer than 5 minutes. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. I'd be more than happy to answer anything about any of the movies. Thanks.